As you probably know, AI is kind of exploding at the moment, and if you're like me, you're probably not quite sure what to think about that. But let's put the scary movies aside for a second, and let's do an experiment and see if AI can help us to reduce one of the most debilitating phenomena of our time, which is anxiety. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the OpenAI chat. It's probably one of the most advanced AI tools that's available to the public. It really is quite amazing what it can do. And we're going to ask it a few questions about anxiety, and we're going to see what it comes back with. So let's check it out. Okay, so here we are in OpenAI, and the first thing that we're going to ask is, how can I solve my anxiety? Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so anxiety is a normal and often healthy emotion. However, when a person regularly feels disproportionate levels of anxiety, it can become disabling. I agree. If you're experiencing anxiety that is disrupting your daily life, there is a number of things you can try to help reduce your symptoms. Okay. Exercise regularly. Physical activity can help reduce stress and improve your mood. Get enough sleep. Very important. Not getting enough sleep can contribute to anxiety. Eat a healthy diet. Reduce caffeine and alcohol intake. Caffeine and alcohol can worsen anxiety symptoms. That's interesting. Practice relaxation techniques. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, and yoga can help reduce anxiety. Seek support. Talk to a mental health professional or join a support group. And try to identify and change any negative thought patterns. Negative thoughts can contribute to anxiety. So I'll just bring that back up. This is great advice. I can say like every single one of these is very good, and at least environmental. So exercise, get enough sleep, eat well. We could add in drink water. You know, of course, caffeine can create anxiety, and alcohol intake. You know, maybe having a drink in the first step might reduce anxiety, but yeah, over the long period, I don't think that it helps. Then some practical things like you know, some techniques, relaxation techniques, deep breathing. We know helps a lot with anxiety. Meditation and yoga. Seek support. I mean, that's, you know, so important. You know, if you're struggling, especially if you really are struggling a lot with anxiety and it's having a very negative effect on your life, it's definitely a good idea to get some kind of help. So, you know, a mental health professional or join a support group. That's really great advice. So, you know, getting support, connecting with other people that have anxiety, I think is definitely a great thing to do, so you don't feel alone. Try to identify and change any negative thought patterns. Negative thoughts can contribute to anxiety. So yeah, that's obviously true and makes a lot of sense. It's important to remember that it may take some time and effort to find what works best for you. Don't be afraid to try different approaches and be patient with yourself. So that's also great advice. You know, I think as a first kind of general, you know, someone's got anxiety, if you give them a very general kind of overview of what to do and the areas that you can look, I think this is great. Now, I want to ask it another question, which is, okay, we have this advice, but how can we implement this in our lives? And I want to try, I've done this before with different ones, different lengths. So I've done 7 days, 10 days, 30 days. Just for the length of this video, I'll do 10 days here. So, okay, I had some technical difficulties, so I need to do this in a different window. Let's give it a try. Can you create a 10-day plan for reducing anxiety? Okay, so sure, here's a 10-day plan for reducing anxiety. Day one, practice deep breathing techniques. Take slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Great. Write down your anxious thoughts in a journal. That's a good idea. Seeing them on paper can help you gain perspective and understand your anxiety better. Beautiful. Try relaxation techniques such as progressive muscle relaxation or meditation. Great idea too. Day two, exercise for at least 30 minutes. Physical activity can help reduce anxiety and improve your mood. Also, great idea. Make time for activities that you enjoy that help you relax, such as reading a book or taking a warm bath. Avoid caffeine and alcohol as they can exacerbate anxiety. Day three, practice gratitude. That's a nice one. That wasn't in our first list. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Focusing on the positive can help shift your mindset and reduce anxiety. Beautiful. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. Okay, so it's giving specific techniques now. Identify 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. This can help bring you back to the present moment and reduce anxiety. That's really cool. I never heard of that. I'm going to try it. Set boundaries with others. Okay, that's also very important. It's okay to say no to things that cause you stress or overwhelm. So we can see here that this is much more in depth than what we did in the first question, than what we got in the first question. Day 4, try the worst case scenario exercise. Write down the worst possible outcome of a situation that is causing your anxiety. Then write down a plan for how you would cope with that outcome. This can help you feel more prepared and in control. I really like that. That's a great idea. Take breaks throughout the day to stretch and move around. Brilliant. Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings in the present moment without judgment. Day 5, get enough sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So that's brilliant. I mean, it's kind of funny to see it in the context of do that on day 5, but yeah, I totally agree. Eat a healthy and balanced diet. Avoid skipping meals, as low blood sugar can help contribute to anxiety. Very good. Reach out to a friend or loved one for support. Okay, good. Now we're reaching out for support. Talking about your anxiety with someone you trust can help you feel less alone and more understood. And it's interesting, I will say that, this is the second time that I've done this search, and I can say that I think it's gotten better than the last time, which is interesting. Day 6, practice self-care. Take breaks when you need them and make time for activities that nourish you, such as hobbies, spending time with loved ones, or getting a massage. Beautiful. Seek professional help if your anxiety is severe or interferes with your daily life. A mental health professional can provide you with coping strategies and support. Very good advice. Consider trying natural remedies such as herbal tea or essential oils. So great, we already got some natural stuff coming in here too. I love it. To help you relax. Day 7, try the thought challenge exercise. Write down an anxious thought and then write down evidence for and against that thought. So this is really interesting because so these kinds of things are great to do and they do help anxiety. However, something that I talk about a lot is that this wouldn't necessarily help you in the moment when you're having anxiety. So it's good to have that distinction of not necessarily trying to do these things when you have anxiety, but in general they are good for helping you to process the thoughts and emotions. So they are good exercises. This can help you see your anxiety from a more balanced perspective. Great. Avoid using drugs or alcohol. as a way to cope with anxiety. Okay, so on day 7, no drugs or alcohol. These substances can actually worsen anxiety in the long run. Make a list of activities that help you feel calm and focused and try to incorporate them into your daily routine. Great. That's a great thing to do. Day 8, try the reframing exercise. Write down an anxious thought and then write down a more balanced or positive way of looking at the situation. Okay, that's a really nice thing to do. Get out in nature. Brilliant. I love nature. Research has shown that spending time in nature can help reduce stress and anxiety. Try the 3 good things exercise. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that went well or that you're grateful for. So that's really nice practice to do. And day 9, practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself with kindness and understanding as you would a good friend. Well, that's really beautiful. And I tell you what, last time I did this, that was not in here. It was in the longer search that I did, but it was not in the 10-day one, which actually I think I asked for 10 days and there's 9 days here. But anyway, practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself with kindness and understanding as you would to a good friend. Like, for me personally, if you could take one thing away from all of this, this is my favorite, and I think it is the key, because basically, anxiety is something that's happening inside of us. We are in a relationship inside of us, like ourselves with a good friend, and anxiety within that is a kind of communication. And so having self-compassion and this self-talk is a skill that we can learn over time, and I think it really is the key ultimately to it's the action that we can take that is going to help us reduce anxiety most. And the last one, try the 1 to 10 technique. So rate your anxiety on a scale from 1 to 10 and then try to do something that helps reduce it. Brilliant. And I will make some suggestions for that later on in this video too. Okay, so we've asked OpenAI a few questions and we've got our responses. Now let's look at our original question, which is, can AI solve anxiety? The first thing I'll say is that this gives very concise and practical information. The advice that it gives, I think, is really good, and everything is valid. So I think, really this is a tool that you can use and get some great ideas from and great information from. Of course, what each person needs will be different. So what we did was a very general search, but you could also go in there and ask questions that are specific to you. So whatever your specific anxiety is, if you have social anxiety or agoraphobia or PTSD or whatever it is that you're specifically struggling with, it could be a great idea for you to go in and ask specific questions that are helpful to you and just explore, because I think it's great the way that it brings in information from all over the net. So it could really save you a lot of time. It's definitely, there would be pluses and minuses to searching on Google, but this is definitely a great way to just condense the information that is out there and just give you some very clean, concise, and helpful answers to your questions. Now, my suggestion of how to use this would be to take just 1 or 2 of the ideas from what OpenAI suggested and try it. Try implementing it in your life. So take 1 idea or 2 ideas that jumped out to you and try implementing them for a week each and see how it goes. This is a way that you can take what we've just done here and already try something and implement it in your life. Then I would also like to just mention a couple of limitations, because obviously this is an amazing tool, but everything does have limitations. And one of the limitations I would say is actually to help you and support you to implement the advice and the information. So it's great that it can give you the information and it can come up with plans and tell you, more or less what to do. And maybe it could be quite specific to you, which is great, but then you would obviously have to take that and run with it yourself. So the implementation is one place where it could have some limitations. And the other thing is just the quality of the information. So it is, of course, limited to the information that is online, and you just never know exactly. Like, information about anxiety is always updating. There's also probably some information that's conflicting. So on some level, it is going to be limited to the quality of the information that it has access to. And just about that, really, just like anything that you hear anywhere on Google or from anybody, just take it with a grain of salt. Use your own discernment and your own intuition when interacting with it and deciding how to implement that in your life. So one other thing that I would like to say is that there are some elements of what I teach that were not in there that I think are really important for reducing anxiety. I believe that these things are some places on the internet. They're not so common and not so commonly known, but they are super important to understanding if you want to reduce anxiety quickly. And there's something that I teach which I call first aid for anxiety. So when you have anxiety, a lot of these things are environmental that you can change over time, but specifically when you have anxiety, there are certain things that you need to do first just to kind of give you exactly what you need in that moment to help you reduce your anxiety. And I've put something together which helps with this called the Anxiety Relief Protocol. It's the first 3 steps that you need to do anytime that you feel anxiety to help it reduce quickly, and this works no matter where you are or what you're doing. It's very simple to do. Now, I give away one of the steps, which I think is the most powerful step, in my free course, Mapping Key to Anxiety Free, which you can get access to immediately in the description of this video. So make sure to go in, click the link, sign up and get free access to that, because I give tons of insights, some of which, it's very different to what we just looked at, and it looks at some things that are not mentioned. And also I give this free tool plus an exercise. We do an exercise in the workshop where we implement it, and you'll already start to feel your anxiety drop. So make sure to go in and give that a try straight away. And just to finish off, can AI solve anxiety? This is an interesting question. Okay, we just looked today at one little area of AI. This is something that is available to us, open, online. Who knows? I don't know what else is out there. There may be other tools already designed for mental health, etc. But I think it's really interesting because, okay, in this situation, we're just asking questions, but who knows? Maybe an AI therapist could be trained that would really be able to understand each person and give them the implementation, and even be with them, now with our phones. It could be with you in an app and really helping you and supporting you along the way. And, while on some level, like, I do think that's a little creepy, especially, I don't know, on some level it's a little creepy, but man, people are suffering with anxiety, and I would say that kind of thing, if something could really be there with you all the time and kind of support you in exactly what you need, like, I would be all for that, because I think it's a very important thing for us to tackle. Maybe the most important thing that we can tackle in the world, because, well, I won't get too philosophical, but most of the world's problems come from anxiety and fear, etc. So I would definitely be behind some exploration into how AI could even be better to help people with anxiety. And the last thing I'll say is that I do think that anxiety is solvable. So whatever your anxiety is, whatever it's coming from, whatever the causes, whatever the reason, however it's showing up in you, I believe, and I choose to believe, that it is solvable, that there is a way for you to get free of it. So my message in that is to not give up. Keep looking. If it's, searching on AI or watching more YouTube videos or getting a therapist, getting a coach, whatever it is, just keep going, because I believe that we have the technology, through what we've learned through spiritual practices plus modern psychology. There is so much good stuff going on that I believe that the answers are out there, and just take initiative and keep looking, and you'll find the answers to your questions, and there is a way to get free from this horrible feeling. And lastly, what do you think about this? What do you think about AI? What do you think about using AI for mental health or anxiety? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will respond to you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was valuable, and let's get free together.